I don't think you're ready for this breakdown. Sorry, please watch. Please click.
Copyright disclaimer.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Bill. I wanted to do something a little different and continue my series on K-pop Demon Hunters by doing a full breakdown, deep dive analysis, overthinking. If you want to check out my initial reactions to the music of and also finally watching the movie, that'll be linked in a playlist in the description. Go check those out if you haven't. I had so many thoughts and notes, and since people were clicking and seemed interested, I wanted to take some time to break it down, talk about it for way too long. I just love talking about this movie. I hope you enjoy the video. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff, especially if you want more K-pop Demon Hunters videos or more breakdown review things like this in the future. I'm gonna do my best to not speak on things that can't be confirmed directly in the movie. I feel like that kind of speculation would be better suited for a different video. How do demons work? What happened to Roomie's mom? I'm gonna do my best to stay focused, no guarantees. So yeah, K-pop Demon Hunters. I mean, K-pop is K-pop. Y'all know what K-pop is, but what is a demon hunter? And the movie does a really great job setting that up for you so you can understand it as quickly as possible. Hunters are chosen fighters in a trio typically who have been defending us from demons for generations. So not only do hunters literally fight off demons, they protect us from their influence through song, connecting with music to ignite hope that fends off the intrusive thoughts demons prey on in us. It's not just a fight against demons, but a fight for our very souls. And we get this amazing opening scene and a little montage of all these generations of different hunter trios. You can piece together the era that they're in based on their aesthetic and the implied music that they sing. It's not just fighting demons, it's inspiring us through music. From Golden Age standards to pop trio, the Sunlight Sisters, led by Celine, who now mentors the latest hunters, a K-pop trio, Huntrix, as the story takes place in modern day. We then get introduced to each member of Huntrix, fittingly via their fans being interviewed on the final show date of their world tour. We have Mira, who does choreography and has a bad girl, wild problem child past that she rightfully rebelled against, leading her to her found family of hunters. Also, there's Zoe, who's the lyricist and rapper of the group who grew up in America, and despite never fitting in, she used her words to forge her path to the group all the way from Burbank, California. And then finally, we have Roomie, the lead vocalist and leader who has been in the care of Celine after Roomie lost her mother at an early age. We don't know much about what happened. We do know that Roomie's mother was a former hunter and Sunlight Sister with Celine. And after she passed, again, no info on that currently, Celine raised Roomie and created the K-pop group Huntrix around her, something that happens a lot in groups and bands in real life. I can't stress enough just how brilliant it is constantly at combining real world pop culture and K-pop things with this magic and this lore. And I really loved all the times that we get that integration there. It works so well. Their weapons, for example, look like they were inspired by the concert light up things, and when they fight demons on stage, it's played off effortlessly as some kind of special effect. Much like the hunters before them, their music lifts up their fans and strengthens the Honmun, a barrier that keeps demons away. Temporarily effective in its current blue form, should it become golden, the Honmun will permanently banish demons from the human world, something it's getting visibly closer to as Huntrix end their global tour and prepare for a much-deserved hiatus. As the final show of their tour is about to start, Roomie, Mira, and Zoe are on a private plane waiting to arrive at the arena for the final performance of the tour. And as they prepare for the upcoming show, they have a traditional carbo load for the fans. I can't appreciate this scene enough, especially in an industry that tends to lean towards a very specific beauty standard, especially for women, but also shout out to my fellas. Women can't eat and men need to stay dehydrated. Anyway, not just the diet element though, how they eat. It's not only gorgeous and hilarious in its animation, freeing in a manic enjoyment that's far from what some might call ladylike, in a way that I feel encourages us to enjoying our food. It also reminds me of like etiquette rules that I always noticed growing up felt a little imbalanced. But this scene just speaks volumes, and that's even before we hear a single song. And speaking of, as their manager, the perfect best boy Bobby calls the girls mid-snacking, informs them that they're running late to their show. I once again have to say thank you for just the shout out to grown men being emotional and connecting to music. This is gonna be a call me crazy theory moment. We see that one of the fans has a Huntrix tattoo, and Mira responds to the tattoo with a, "oh, sick." Maybe she'd be accepting of something else on someone's body. Anyway, it's revealed that their flight was derailed by demons disguised as humans. The K-pop idols start to see the little details adding up in their odd behavior. The demons immediately face their wrath, not just for having patterns being an indicator of demon, and they must fight demons. It's a very foreshadowing line, and foreshadowing the message of the movie. What pushes the fight into action is the demons threatening their fans. Almost like, maybe, patterns aren't what makes you bad. Huh. Bill, you're reading too much into it. I didn't get that impression from this movie at all. Through their training and expertise with beautiful light-up weapons, but also a kick-ass song perfect for kicking some ass called How It's Done, the fight begins, and holy crap, it's not just an achievement animation, award-worthy achievement animation, if I dare say so myself. It's also wrapped up in this fight choreography surrounding them eating these noodles as they fight demons mid-prepping hot water and waiting the full 3-minute cook time recommended on their Huntrix brand deal packaging. Another brilliant little detail. Zoe's flavor being from America as burger ramen, something Ace Attorney joke, and Mira's is a spicy flavor, a little nod towards her wild child past, but Roomie's is just superstar flavor, almost like her struggles haven't been showcased much in their work. Huh, that's weird. Look at Mira hitting a demon on beat with the music. Wow, look, they look so badass in this shot, and the song is amazing. Oh, it gets stuck in my head all the time. Not only is the music in this movie incredible, it's also diegetically part of the fights, giving them power, unifying them. It makes me wonder if demons are literally weak to music as well as, swords and spears and daggers to the face. The animation style and the fight choreography alone make these scenes incredible, adding in that banger music, just the perfect cherry on top. The plane is destroyed, the demons are about to land in the arena, the girls scarf down their noodles and jump out of the plane. It's one of my favorite scenes in a movie full of favorite scenes. Each girl getting an iconic lyric and moment as they fight and descend upon their arena show. Fit check for my napalm era. It just goes way too hard. I love it way too much. Finishing the fight as they land on stage, again, their secret double life as hunters is safe, as everyone just assumes they use some sort of visual effects or hologram or something. They finish the song How It's Done as the opener of their show. The song's lyrics include what I like to refer to as the hunter's mantra, as we see their music light that same blue spark in their fans that hunters have nurtured for generations. Hear our voice unwavering, till our song defeats the night, making fear afraid to breathe, till the dark meets the light. A huge piece of foreshadowing that stares us in the face from the beginning, till the dark meets the light. That's Roomie. There's a few variations of the hunter's mantra that we hear throughout the movie, with one line always staying consistent. When darkness meets the light. Not defeats, or beats, meets. You see, Roomie is the child of not only her mother, a former demon hunter, her father was a demon. Again, we don't get a lot of details, but we've all wondered, though. Don't act like you didn't. Roomie has been raised to see her heritage as a mistake, and we'll get to that, but it's been right there all along that this was the inevitable evolution of hunters and demons. She is the embodiment of when darkness meets light. Not just a demon hunter, but a demon hunter. Something foretold in their mantra, proving that she is not a mistake. We'll get to it, but it's something that really speaks to me every time I rewatch this movie. As the show finishes, the hone moon starts to turn gold, very briefly in little pieces. They're very close to achieving their goal. The tour is done, and everything is going according to plan. Now it's time for the next phase of the K-pop Demon Hunter cinematic universe, taking a dang break. Their manager, the best boy Bobby, booked them a glamorous spa trip, but they want to simply lay down on their couch and do nothing productive. So Bobby gets to go to the spa instead. It's one of my favorite things of the story that I get to still feel like he deserves that spa break, like the king he is. There's no sudden evil reveals with Bobby. He's just a great supportive manager who constantly fights to do what's best for Huntrix. So refreshing that I'm kind of mad it's refreshing, if that makes any sense. Meanwhile, speaking of twists and villains, we get to see what happens to the demons that were bested in battle as we meet the king of demons himself, Guima, the by fireplace, who is angry that Huntrix has saved the day again. Brilliantly written and delivered, like we kind of popped into the tail end of a non-linear episodic I'll get you next time gadget. It really fits that kind of energy for me in a very fun way. However, before he can punish his subordinates like a literal reverse Bobby, a beautiful man with the silliest little guy approaches with a song Mocking Guima, a simple, haunting tune set to the light strings of a beepaw. Bill, please say that right. Reminding Guima that he's on his last legs and it will be his fault if the fire goes out. This beautiful man's name is Genu, by the way. I don't know how to organically put that in here. You know who he is. Genu's song seems to be agitating Guima, who claims Genu is, quote, lucky he let him keep his voice, which he is now using to mock him, which I think is a complete lie. Guima has a power very similar to Hunter's. Instead of inspiring people, he can influence your shame and insecurities via voices in your head. As opposed to music that lifts you up, he is a voice that drags you down. He's manipulative, evil, and cruel, and yet he's just this nice, silly little guy who let Genu keep his voice, lets him walk around singing his one weakness, music. Even just the line, "You're lucky I let you keep your voice," is classic manipulation. Much like Roomie grappling with self-acceptance to unlock her true potential, something that is literally taking her voice from her, I believe Genu was also capable of defeating Guima with music. Music is the power, and dousing someone in shame stops them from expressing themselves to their full potential. A truly crazy theory, I know. Guima has no control over music, so he has to control Genu through his mind. All right, silly little theory done for now. Genu approaches Guima with a plan to fight fire with fire, or well, K-pop with K-pop, as he has assembled a demon boy band and strikes a deal with Guima that if he can succeed at stopping Huntrix from sealing the Honmoon, then Guima will finally take the voices and memories of what he did to be damned to the demon world away from him. He did something that led him to this demon world hellscape plane, and he wants the memory of what he did erased. It's a great plan, and even the demons agree when they get to see the demons turned beautiful boy band with the snap of a finger and a well-timed soda pop sound effect. Okay, weird theory number 2. I think Genu wrote the Soulja Boy songs. He made the group, he changed them into hotties with a snap of his fingers, and he had this plan on his own from the start. Moreover, a human who starved and valued food, now a demon who values souls, would definitely write a song about filling up on food, junk food, soda pop, as a thinly veiled metaphor for harvesting souls. Much like Huntrix, I think Genu wrote from what he knows, a place of honesty. Anyway, with the looming threat of the demon boy band on its way, it's hiatus time for Huntrix as Mira and Zoe prepare to sit on the couch and watch nonsense with tons of food. They've worked hard and they've earned it. Plus, it's great for your mental health to... Roomie, buddy, what do you... Oh. Now? Never mind, Roomie decided they're gonna drop their new single Golden right damn now. Roomie has this desperate need to seal the Honmoon and turn it gold. Get it? Golden? Top 10 things you didn't notice. It's called Golden because they want the Honmoon to turn gold. Anyway, so... So instead of resting when they're so close, she pushes the release of their new single and music video for Golden without even talking to anyone about it first. A very rude move for sure, but we do also get to see how supportive Mira and Zoe are despite their cries and reluctance. Once again, setting up the support between them as a group. Also, without context, it still fits tragically too well that Roomie's having this rising build of pressure. I mean, even Bobby sheds his spa robe without batting an eye. He has a pre-made matching golden aesthetic costume to match with the girls. Yeah, protect the world, but protect Bobby, who lives on the world. So we have to save the world. None of the fans, not even Bobby, bat an eye at this sudden, unexpected shift from final show of the tour, we go on a hiatus, to new single, oh boy, live performance tonight. And I love that we never make it the fans' fault or even Bobby's fault. Roomie did this all on her own, and it allows us to focus in on why. Again, there's already an obvious setup here for just toxic perfectionism mindset. There's also something more behind this sudden and unhealthy decision. As the Golden music video premieres, we see the story of the song unfold as each member of Huntrix relates their struggles and hardships in their past. Mira was a problem child who now thrives with who she is in a better environment away from her conservative coded family. Zoe felt like she never belonged, being a part of two worlds, reflected in how she grew up in America, but having now find her place with Huntrix. Roomie reflects on when she felt alone, like a ghost, unworthy of the crown that she was born into, reflecting her music royalty status from her late mother and Celine, as she stands under a soon-to-be very familiar tree. Gee, I wonder if this tree is synonymous with some kind of pain or struggle or shame. Maybe the tree is synonymous with why she can't seem to go on a break and pushes the release of this new video. We see the girls prepare for their first live performance of Golden, and as Zoe and Mira are in a shared dressing room getting excited and taking photos, we pan over to Roomie, all alone, in a coldly lit, colorless gray room. At first glance, it's very odd. They seem to get along great, but yeah, it makes sense. And then we, the audience, get the reveal of her big secret, why she forces herself to isolate. Just like the demons she faced previously, Roomie too has patterns on her body indicative of being a demon. In her case, half demon. She continues to sing the lyrics of Golden about being yourself, no more hiding, as she covers up more of her body and more of these marks, these patterns, with her costume jacket. Not only does this seem very routine in how she does it, but the fact that she had a zipper ready to go all the way up her collar kind of feels like it was designed with the possibility she might need it. Unspoken shame and fear is written all over every frame of this scene, as we see that she herself does not follow the messages of her own song. An underlying element of why this problem is propelled minutes before they're set to sing live. As she's singing about loving and accepting herself while not loving and accepting herself, her voice is starting to fail. At first, she says she's fine and insists that she can push through, while everyone unknowingly adds unintentional shame and pressure to the situation as they try not to freak out while clearly freaking out. Roomie cracks and runs away. The live performance has been canceled. As Roomie sprints away from the studio, something that may or may not come back later, but with the intention of running towards something as opposed to away, we hear the echoes of a young Roomie reciting the Hunter's mantra song with Celine as a little girl. We are Hunter's voices strong, slaying demons with our song. Fix the world and make it right, when darkness finally meets the light. Hey, look at that! When darkness finally meets the light. Again, I can't see this as anything but anticipating the unity of hunters and demons through Roomie. However, now we also get the line, fix the world and make it right. Something Celine, her guardian, mentor, and a former hunter, has taken to a toxic extreme. Bit of a hot take. That's one thought, not two. Fix the world and make it right when darkness finally meets the light. Not fixing it like Celine believes they should fix it. We don't even know if it's written to separate those lines musically. Fix the world and make it right when darkness finally meets the light. That's just how Celine sings it, how she sees things, and thus how Roomie sees and hears the song as she repeats what Celine says. A very subtle indicator of the generational toxic ideology that's just being sent from Celine to Roomie. Sure, she's not a source of this ideology, but she is perpetuating it. We'll get to it. I really like that sentiment. How Celine sings it, and hence how Roomie sees and sings that song, there's just something about that to me. She's not looking at sheet music or listening to a recording, it's what's being passed to her from Celine. We see a very young Roomie reciting this mantra and instantly has questions about patterns being bad, referring to her own, at the time, very small pattern growing on her shoulder. A pattern Roomie doesn't seem to have when Celine took her in. Celine tells her that sealing the demons away with the golden honeymoon will fix her, that she isn't a demon like her father, rather she is a hunter like her mother. Very applicable to so many things in our real world, not being exactly what we're told we should be. Even if it's just one little thing different about us, it can make our whole being feel like we simply don't belong. Why Roomie is so desperate to release more music and turn the honeymoon gold like she's supposed to do is now very evident. Alone on a rooftop with her pattern showing, Roomie desperately tries to sing and connect to the song Golden, but her voice wears down again and she lets out a scream, which reverberates in a demonic pink color on the honeymoon around her, a color we've seen associated with Guima and with demons. Isolated, alone, scared, she covers up and returns home to find calm, understanding support from Mira and Zoe. This movie does an excellent job making it very, very clear that Roomie is not justified in her fears, but that doesn't make them any less real. Mira and Zoe don't even bring up an ounce of disappointment or anger or frustration at the live show being canceled. Their only concern is for Roomie and that they want to help her heal her voice. There's not even a joke, oh, I guess we get to go on hiatus after all, teehee. Even Bobby's freaked out when he calls, but then quickly regathers his strength and defends his girls that they will sing when they are ready. Again, Bobby best boy. Unlike Celine, who used words of warped ideology, Bobby indirectly is showing Roomie, Mira, and Zoe through his actions that it's okay to share that fear. Let your feelings out. Express yourself. He literally starts that call saying how he's feeling and what's going on. He's freaking out. He doesn't think he can handle this. He centers himself, prepares to defend his girls, and immediately gets back to their side, assuring himself and them that he has it covered and to focus on resting and getting better. What a damn legend. Bobby did more protecting, parenting, and support in a single-minute phone call than Celine did in 20 years. Again, I see that as an inversion to Celine. Instead of being told to be ashamed, he's showing them how to be brave. As Mira and Zoe do their best to help Roomie, they do bring up the option of reaching out to Celine. It made me realize that, interesting enough, Celine is not at their shows, and apparently there's very little established recent contact between them and their mentor. We do also get a very telling beat as the two of them mock Celine and her teachings, highlighting again that they're a safe space. Oh, you can't let your feelings be seen. But then they immediately freak out, overlapping each other with, yeah, but seriously, we gotta fix this. Something's wrong. We got to do this. All of them have been, in a sense, raised by Celine to varying degrees. At Zoe's totally legit suggestion, we see the girls turn on incognito mode, always covering Roomie's iconic and very noticeable hair, to seek the help of a totally legit doctor that claims to have worked with other K-pop idols before? It's also a very eye-opening, very eye-opening, literally and figuratively, as the totally legit doctor senses walls have built up in Roomie. He begins to warn her of how focusing too intently on a single aspect of the self can neglect the whole. This applies not only to Roomie and her patterns, but all of Huntrix. We learn through this eye-opening practice that Zoe is in fact a people pleaser, having lived two lives and played both sides. Mira is, not ready to be analyzed yet. We respect it. Despite the surprisingly astute diagnosis, totally legit voice tonics are given to Roomie. As they head home, they run into a group of boys. Rude boys, tall boys, arrogant boys, shoulders and eyes boys. Just like how Roomie's patterns look bad, but aren't, these boys look good and are not. A K-drama-esque meet cute barely gets started before it's ruined as Roomie gets knocked over by one of the arrogant, beautiful boys who leaves her on the ground to pick up her legit tonics herself. The girls get very angry and frustrated that something so hot can be so rude. Also, good God, the popcorn eyeballs. That's the note. Popcorn eyeballs. We, the audience, know that these rude, rugged, beautiful bad boys are the demon boy band Genu formed to take down Huntrix. However, Huntrix doesn't know that yet, until a surprise pop-up performance of Soda Pop seems too magical, too unreal. A suspiciously obvious flash of patterns quickly confirms their suspicions. Well, almost all their suspicions. Zoe's too smitten with this new group, the Saja Boys, to focus. Side note, question. If Celine was the Roomie, the lead singer of the Starlight Sisters, the previous Demon Hunter trio, does that mean Zoe is Roomie's mom? Or, you know what I mean. Zoe is Ruby's mom, confirmed. Would also make a great clickbait title though, right? But yeah, Zoe's a freak, and we support her. I can't stress enough how much I love Soda Pop and all its wonderfully twisted little elements. The lyrics about comparing the listeners to food and the thinly veiled souls allegory, the choreography of them opening and then eventually throwing away the Soda Pop can, discarded after they drink it up, the infectious beat, the whistling, it's pure pop sugar and evil. It's wonderfully written and performed. I can't stop giggling at both the fictional boy band single and the brilliant elements created for the sickly sweet sinister song. Still can't believe it also works for Genu's character to obsess over food like he did as a human, literally as he's giving junk food and gifts to everyone. Well, tries to. After the performance, Genu recognizes Roomie and hits her with that same shoulder brushing that he did when he knocked her over in the previous scene. He's clearly setting up a trap that Huntrix instantly fall for. I think we gotta K-pop these guys, Steven. Literally preparing for battle in a hilarious, quick montage, too quick in my opinion, of war paint makeup, killer nails, amazing metal refrain, and a breathtaking but brief visual. Absolute banger. It's time to duel, you beautiful, ripped, It was all a trap to propel the Demon Boy band into viral fame as they lured Huntrix with their quick, ostentatious flash of their patterns that only a hunter can see to this hot sauce drinking game show the Saja Boys had to hilariously endure. It's also a clever way to get a quick roll call of all the members' personas, names. Do they have names? Why is Jinu's just his name? It's almost like they're products to be consumed and not real people. Or demons? You know what I mean. Anyway, baby Saja drinks the most hot sauce. And as we see Huntrix geared up, skulking about, ready to pounce as soon as the curtain drops, Jinu announces that they have a special guest, Huntrix, coming to join them on stage. Betrayed by Leather, we see how acting out of hate is not the right path for Huntrix. It's genius when you think about it. Be rude to Roomie, make a hit song, show them your patterns, say where you will be tonight, make sure that there are people watching, then force them to save face through an expected kindness, facade, hospitality, both as celebrities and idols and arguably as women, forcing them into a position to where fans will feel confident in a pseudo seal of approval to join the pride, their fan base. Oh yeah, thanks for telling me this in the comments, by the way. Saja means lion. Lion boys. More like lion boys. Which might have been intentional. Oh, dang. Roomie, an expert in concealing reality, even calls them her hubes, which, according to Google, is a respectful term while addressing your junior, implying that they might share a cinematic universe of sorts. Perfectly aligning with Jinu's plan, Huntrix showing up on their game show does propel their virality? Maybe if I had more views, I'd know this word. Like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, member, Patreon, blah. Huntrix's forced surprise appearance on this game show does propel Saja Boys' virality, even with a vertical short form content dance challenge. Which, side note, you can see most of the usernames in the Soda Pop dance challenge are Huntrix fandom based names. It's a really nice touch. They're stealing their fans. After the curtain falls on the game show, the Saja Boys goad Huntrix into following them into a nearby bathhouse, somewhere Mira and Zoe have always wanted to go with Roomie, but not like this. Side note, another sign of their support for Roomie, the girls never push her or tease her or question her whenever she's avoiding the bathhouse. It just works on a lot of levels and they're always respectful. There's no teasing, there's no eye rolling, they always accept it. As we get another breathtaking action scene in the bathhouse and a new meme template, Roomie corners Jinu and it's revealed through a rip in her armor, that she has patterns like his. It also prevents Roomie from being able to help Mira and Zoe in the fight as her patterns are exposed, showing how dangerous the ramifications of someone like Celine and her ideologies can be. Links in the description. Jinu seizes this opportunity to save Roomie from being exposed. At first played comically with a very spicy slow-mo image of his strong chest surrounding her face, it also reads to me that Jinu quickly assessed the situation, that there was a very likely chance that should Mira and Zoe see the marks too soon, they'll be understanding, they'll support her, and Roomie won't be so easily manipulated. He covers her arm with a rag and vanishes, leaving a confused and covered up Roomie to help Mira and Zoe defeat the remaining demons. We also see the first soul harvested after leaving the bathhouse because an old man just so happened to be singing that hit little ditty, Soda Pop. We also see that the demons are all huge Saja Boy stans who relate to them. They're just like us, which, yes, is funny and cute. It also makes me wonder, again, if Jinu could have sealed the honeymoon and defeated Guima himself with his music had he dealt with his own patterns. We even see the devastation that their demon pink energy is causing on the honeymoon. It's not talked about at all. I'm just so entranced by this notion that the demon magic is the same as the demon hunter magic. It's almost like it's the intention, the headspace of whoever wields it. Release the 3-hour cut or whatever. Seeing the rising splotches of pink in the honeymoon as Saja Boys gather more and more followers and they harvest more souls through that music, proving to Huntrix's horror that Saja Boys and demon magic can impact the honeymoon through songs just like they can. After quickly covering up bruises and signs of battle on their faces, which Roomie has a new mirror that doesn't match Mira's and Zoe's, because she tossed hers over her shoulder and how it's done. Why do they go so hard? I love this movie. I love the details. Mwah. I'm not actually kissing anyone who made this movie. I'm just showing my appreciation. Chef's kiss, not a Kiss, kiss. Anyway, the girls lament and fear the rise of the Saja boys with Bobby, who very healthfully reminds himself and the girls that it's just social media. It's not the end of the world. Little does he know, because humans can't see the Honmoon, the girls are staring at the world-ending threat to the Honmoon glowing around him. This sparks anger and fear in Roomie as she, Mira, and Zoe decide to write a diss track exposing the Saja boys for what they really are. Maybe a diss track, while sure therapeutic in the moment, is not the way for Huntrix. Just like how going to the game show to destroy the Saja boys backfired. The power of their music comes from lifting people up, not taking people down. Oh my god. Roomie goes to her room, much like her dressing room is very dark and muted in its color palette. She's greeted by the cutest, bestest little guys. A big blue tiger with huge eyes and a little bird? Raven. Magpie. Bird. A little bird with an even littler hat. They are literally the best. They are my children. They were sent by Genu to deliver an invitation to a picnic? No, to talk. Roomie rejects the invitation at first, but follows the duo anyway. Weird side note, there's a window displaying 4 mannequins that seem to be 3 women and a man in a similar outfit to what Genu wears in Your Idol and at the end of the movie. I'm gonna try to say it. Jusong Saja. Might be a stretch to call foreshadowing, but I think it is, or at least it's neat. After some sick stealthy moves, Roomie runs into Genu. Interestingly enough, Roomie's sword seems to also change color from Hunter Blue to Demon Pink. I don't know, maybe it looks cool, maybe it does it a lot, I didn't notice it until now. Maybe it's because she's half Hunter, half Demon? I don't know, but it makes my brain go burr. Oh my god. Genu teases Roomie about her pajama pants having trains on them, which succeeds in shaming her as she throws them away in a later scene. We also get some very interesting information about demons. Despite Roomie believing demons feel nothing, all they do is feel. They feel pain. They feel misery. It's a really strong, haunting line that resonates with Roomie, enlightening Roomie to the possibility that there's more to demons than she was taught to believe. She lowers her guard as Genu shares his backstory. He was once human, poor and starving, and he tried to play music to get money for his family. Once he stopped playing, Guima appeared to him with a deal that would give him more food than he can eat and a warm place to sleep. By bringing his music to popularity overnight, he and his family were invited to live at the palace, and he was haunted by these marks from the aforementioned deal with Guima until they overcame him, which is a very intense implication. And he is now trapped in the demon world for eternity, as was the deal he made 400 years ago. Roomie starts being sympathetic to Genu's story, well, this version of it at least, leaving Roomie with seeds of doubt and a wary relatability to Genu. They both have patterns. Genu's patterns are of his behaviors and choices that he hates, and Roomie's are a social pattern that generates self-hatred. Despite Genu disappearing in a puff of smoke, Roomie finds herself feeling slightly less alone. Back to work, we see Huntrix busy having a mental block writing this new diss track in their studio. Zoe continues to lust over photos of Mystery. She's a freak and we support her. Mira tears up the photos and takes them down, thus inspiring Takedown. Born from a headspace of dismissing love and choosing anger, which is the literal opposite of all their other songs. The diss track takes form very quickly. Clever and fun as the scene is, the beat is literally inspired from Mira hurting a demon. It's based in hate and violence. We see tension start to rise between the 2 K-pop groups as Saja boys continue to win awards and be placed in second right behind Huntrix when they don't. Roomie begins to hesitate in battle as they encounter more demons. She even starts to ask them if they're being controlled by Guima. Mira starts to notice that something seems to be up as Roomie even starts to struggle with the lyrics in Takedown about demons and their patterns, going all the way back to when she was a child. Singing songs about demons and patterns made her feel ashamed of her own heritage, of her own marks, of her own body. Unlike Celine, who perpetuates this ideology, or Genu, who's stuck in a pattern of his behaviors, this is the moment where Roomie starts to overcome the cycle that she will no longer help perpetuate. She has second thoughts about the lyrics, but her work as a hunter and an idol must go on. As Saja boys amass more and more fans, it's time for Huntrix to get back out there and re-strengthen the connection they have with their fans with a meet and greet. Another interesting way that they keep highlighting the duality between K-pop idols and demon hunting. Fan events like this not only strengthen their bond with their fans, it strengthens the Honmoon. Saja boys who? What could go wrong? This time, the Saja boys' sabotage goes awry as they camp out to be first in line to the Huntrix meet and greet signing. Bobby, being not only the best boy and best manager, is a smart businessman, and the respectful thing to do is bring them a table. Roomie, not wanting half the fans to now move over to the Saja boys' table, leaving the Huntrix line, decides that they should join forces and all sit together. If half the line moves over to the Saja boys' table, that's half their fans not engaging with them. I also appreciate how economical Roomie is here. 2 meet and greets in this economy? We stand a queen who looks out for her fans, both in a financial sense and a wellness sense. Rolling with Roomie's curveball, Jinu continues to taunt Roomie's shame. After all, she still hasn't even told her friends about her patterns. We see Zoe crumbling and crushing over mystery, and Mira unknowingly has become part of a throuple ship. Just like in my other video, I have to point out, I really appreciate that her anger and disgust is at the person, or in this case, people that she's being shipped with, not the dynamic. As they whisper and bicker, a fan approaches Roomie and Jinu, who assures them their secret is safe, revealing her fan-made Rujinu ship shirt. I also have to point out that the first Rujinu post was made by the writer-director Maggie Kang. I really love that little touch. Does that make it canon? They both get flustered and try desperately to overcorrect the shipping, in the end doing absolutely nothing to quell the fan, who's frankly having the best day. And just as I think this scene is simply great jokes and a lovely break from all those intense themes and hard messages, a little kid offers Jinu a drawing of Jinu as an angel. And just like that, we're back to the hard themes and heavy messaging. Roomie does not hesitate, taking this opportunity to tell Jinu, hey, maybe we should listen to these voices instead of the ones Guima infects your mind with. But he's way beyond that point. Transfixed on the drawing, and specifically the word soul. I'm sorry, I have to bring up my Jinu could have stopped Guima theory. This does show us, and more importantly Jinu, that despite his intentions of making music solely to hurt Huntrix and wipe his memory, his music is having a genuine impact on people. It made this child happy, and when this kid hears Soda Pop, there's a connection made, and he doesn't know how to process it. Also, I think it's no coincidence that he had a little sister as a human, and this kid is also little. I'm sure, if nothing else, draws up more emotions for Jinu. I've seen your comments, by the way, that, oh, what if it's his sister reincarnated? And I guess I just have to say, stop! Ow! Damn! God! Don't. When arguing with Roomie about her patterns, Jinu has a very interesting line that I'd also like to point out. If hate could defeat Guima, he would have done it a long time ago. I'm inclined to believe him. Not only is it a subtle nod to how Takedown isn't the right song for Huntrix and their goals, it also hits harder as he stares at that fan art. It's love, dude. Love and support for others defeats Guima. Side note, I do also just want to mention real quick, I do keep everything people send me to the P.O. box. Thank you to everyone who has. Thank you everyone just for clicking and hanging out, leaving nice comments, as well as donations and P.O. box stuff. This scene hits really hard. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for being supportive. Thank you for being nice. Moving on, I'm uncomfortable. Mir and Zoe are confused by Roomie's sudden outburst of support for Jinu, filled with a thunderous applause while he stares down the crayon word soul. To Mir and Zoe, demons don't feel. Everything Roomie's been learning about demons has been alone, and she has not been sharing this information. Roomie starts to re-examine the Takedown lyrics again, still bothered by their unknowingly ignorant condemnation of patterns. She tries her own lyrics alone in a room that changes the entire message. When your patterns start to show, I see a pain that lies below. Again, something like Takedown will not seal the honeymoon, will not help Huntrix. Unfortunately, Mira overhears part of this and knocks on Roomie's door, wanting to talk. Despite not getting overanalyzed by a totally legit doctor, we get to see a glimpse behind the facade that Mira holds. She can sense something's up, and given her relationship with her family growing up, this concern triggers a sense of paranoia in Mira. Something is wrong. Something is secret. What else are you hiding? Is it about me? Is it about our family? What's wrong? What's missing? What's being hidden? What's going to change? What's going to be taken from me? Unfortunately, we don't have the time to go as in-depth as I'd love to with Mira and Zoe. This is still a very informative moment, despite never directly communicating these thoughts. Unfortunately, this vulnerability doesn't have a chance to last very long, especially when a core element that unites Huntrix, that unites these girls, is hate. Hate for demons and their patterns, constantly condemning those with marks. While we know Mira doesn't know what's going on with Roomie, her attempt to reestablish their connection literally does the opposite. After After confronting Roomie about how she was nice to Jinu at the meet and greet and changing the lyrics when she's alone, Mira puts herself down and then tries to establish that connection again with Roomie, reconnecting that generations-old bond between hunters, hating and hunting demons. I can't wait until every demon is destroyed and suffering eternally with Guima, a sentiment typically a hunter would be expected to share, something they could bond over. I don't think it matters so much to Mira that all demons perish forever, but that this team is on the same page, that she and Roomie are still close, that they're on the same side. The verbiage, though, is very powerful and very devastating. Suffering eternally. Damnation for being who you are. Mira, without knowing, has included Roomie in that statement, and I think it's so important and powerful to showcase how a good character, a good person like Mira, with so many good intentions, can do so much damage unknowingly. We hunt demons together. Haha, demons bad. Right? Laugh with me. Connect with me. I also firmly believe that if Mira knew about the pattern, she would not say this or feel this way, and yet it still transpires that way. Showcasing the things in our world, big and small, that can keep someone afraid, isolated, and ashamed. Again, if Mira knew, I believe she'd feel terrible, even apologize. This isn't her perspective. Not only has it been taught to her and trained in her as a demon hunter, hunting demons brought her found family, something she wasn't born into like Roomie, something she could lose, something she's lost before, the blatant paranoia that begets that level of abandonment. This scene really speaks to me on a personal level. It's happened so much to me. I also shudder and cringe knowing I've done this unintentional damage to somebody. Despite my best efforts, I will inevitably do that again. The point isn't to condemn Mira, that's why I use myself as an example. It's to put in effort to cultivate a safe space, especially right now. An insecure joke or offhand comment trying to reinforce a relationship drove it further apart. So far apart that Roomie is pushed to reaching out to Jinu to meet again. We see Jinu wait for Roomie to arrive just to be jump scared by her stealth mode. It is a funny beat, yes. It tells us two important things. Not only does Jinu have his guard down a bit after what happened at the meet and greet with the fan art, but Roomie could have taken him out right there and chose not to. It was a clear opportunity to strike. She had the jump on him. No one's watching. This isn't an opportunity to save face. She chose to meet him. It just gives her so much agency in this. She's not in danger. If anything, she is the danger. That was stupid. She also has devised a plan that will include Jinu in the defeat of Guima, not as a bargain or a desperate attempt at self-preservation, not even to stop the Saja boys from topping the charts. It's because she sees him for what he is, a person in pain who made a mistake that he clearly regrets. It's simple, really. If Jinu were to help them by sabotaging the Saja boys at the upcoming Idol Award show, this would give them the opportunity to shine and seal the Honmoon for good. Furthermore, Roomie believes that if Jinu were on the human side of the seal, he could be safe and free in the human world. He's hesitant at first, and Jinu starts to question if the Honmoon would even bother saving someone like him. And we, the audience, still don't know if this would have worked. We don't know the magic that specifically. While yes, it's fun to think about logistics, the fact that he sees the Honmoon that way, as an act of judgment, it shows us just how trapped Jinu really is and the lack of worth he has for himself. His regret for his actions has fueled a hatred for himself for what he did. Roomie can't take that away for him, but she can offer him a way to see himself differently. Again, I cannot overstate how well balanced this movie is. After something that tragic and sad, we then have this adorable little moment where a woman comes up selling bracelets, a bracelet for your pretty girlfriend. They're flustered, it's awkward, and then the woman gives up on Jinu and just hands Roomie the bracelet for free and tells her to find a better boy. It also brings us back to the growing relationship between Roomie and Jinu. Roomie, who is everyone's type, awkwardly hands Jinu the bracelet after a very charged moment, and they go their separate ways. Okay, hold on. We have to pause and talk about colors real quick. Hunters are blue. Demons are pink. We see it in the magic, the weapons, also in the colors of the Honmoon. Demon pink, hunter blue. Mix them together, you get purple. Is this a coincidence that it also makes up byliner on Roomie's face? No, I won't deny anyone the possibility of that intention. Do I see it? Yeah, I do. Is it intentional? Who cares? Anyway, pink demon, blue hunter, purple both. Roomie is both. Purple hair. Now, look at the bracelet. No demon pink. It signifies the invitation from Roomie to aid the hunters in this fight against Guima, to start seeing the potential for good in himself. But Jinu isn't completely a demon? I wish we knew more about how this works. I really do. And again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time speculating. That's a different video. That being said, Jinu is a damned human with a demon stuff. Whatever Roomie is, Jinu is kind of that. Instead of being born this way, TM, his choices led him here. Either way, Jinu isn't completely a demon. He used to be human, and I see the colors in the bracelet as a way to start viewing himself as a human who's part demon, like Roomie. Or it just looks cool and has a significant meaning to a culture I know very little about in a part of the world I've never been to. For now, colors in media make my brain go burr. But seriously though, if there's more to the color scheme or the bracelet itself, please let me know. I love learning things. Just, be nice. It's not completely my fault that I'm so stupid. Also, a moment of note in this scene, Jinu reassures Roomie that she wasn't a mistake. I think that was genuine. I don't think that was part of the act, or the facade, or to manipulate Roomie. I think he genuinely meant that. Anyway, okay, bye. Fresh off that charged moment, Roomie is rehearsing Takedown for the Idol Awards with Mira and Zoe. But after having that talk with Jinu, she finally has the courage to take that baby step forward to self-acceptance by speaking up about the Patterns lyric that's been bothering her this whole time. Standing up for herself in such a small way is so big. Unfortunately, due to her still existing fear of telling her friends the truth, this change is not only sudden, the timing is now the issue given the Idol Awards are literally tomorrow. Due to the lack of information and understanding, Zoe goes full people-pleasing mode, trying desperately to fix it, and Mira gets justifyingly frustrated at this last-minute objection from Roomie. Not only does this subtextually get fueled by the many opportunities Mira has given Roomie to talk about whatever it is that's bothering her, it also confirms her instincts and insecurities that something was indeed up after all. And there's clearly more going on that she's not talking about. And while her feelings are not inconvenient, we have a show tomorrow. Unfortunately, this argument gets interrupted by the shine in the Honmoon as demons are on the move again. Right as the perfect boy Bobby shows up with snacks for the girls. I mean, look at him. It's also setting up his inevitable spiral and self-image mental decline. He hears the girls fighting, he tries to help, and he even brings support snacks just to see them argue and vanish. With Bobby so out of the loop and so alone, he turns to his phone that's inviting him to join the pride. Get it? Lions? Saja means lions. Bet you didn't know. Top 100 things you missed in K-pop Demon Hunters. Saja means lion. Lion boys, more like... Heeding the Honmoon's call, Huntrix find themselves battling demons on top of a train. Oh boy, a cool action scene. Yay. Typically this would still not be a match for Huntrix. However, now as they battle while singing Takedown, something's wrong. This isn't a song that unifies them, and Roomie can't connect to the music as they usually do in battle. Furthermore, Mira won't let this go. It's so obvious that she's taking it personally, again, as one with abandonment issues might. God, I don't even like saying the line while I'm recapping the movie. Not everything is about your insecurities, Mira. A painful line that Roomie blurts out in a moment of anger. Her words visibly shock Mira beyond anything we've seen from her before. This awful moment resonates throughout the group, who barely managed to keep it together as the demons swarm the train, seeking to harvest the souls of its passengers. Roomie now needs to prove to Mira that she's still with them and fails to fight as the song hinders her focus and maybe her abilities. Again, we don't know how the magic works, but we've been so focused on the growing discord between the hunters, we don't know what happened to the people on board the train. And as they go to check, we get this very somber shot of an empty train. They're gone. All that's left are phones playing promo for Saja Boys. They were taken right out from under them, literally, and we see the divide in the group continue to grow. The girls are rightfully devastated by this loss, possibly the first time ever that they've failed so directly to save people from demons. Mira starts to shut down, just wanting to get through this, but still get through this together. Zoe is so confused and overwhelmed, she can't even find a side to be on. Roomie, still cemented in her plan to stay the course and that she will be fixed, overcorrects by doubling down on having Jinu secretly help her. I think Mira and Zoe would at least understand Roomie's plan had they been included in it. Roomie's hesitation to tell them about her patterns comes full circle back to the fear and the hatred that hunters have for demons, now also consumed by the thought that they would hurt him or ruin this plan. Roomie meets with Jinu again, and as we get the greatest lore drop of all time, that the bird, the magpie, the hat on the bird was meant for the tiger, but he keeps stealing it. It just tickles me so pink. It's such a useless detail, but it's so lovely and fun. I'm sure it signifies something or is a reference to folklore, please point me in the right direction. I'd love to learn about it. Right now, I have to stay focused talking about movies go burr. Roomie asks Jinu again for help, but before Jinu can insist that he still isn't helpful and not worthy, Roomie informs him that her voice has returned since they started talking and opening up to each other. Finding even a community of one person and relating to Jinu helped Roomie feel less isolated, and she's becoming less ashamed of her demon side. However defined, this connection with Jinu is helping Roomie heal, and we get a powerful duet between the two called Free about how despite seeing themselves as bad or wrong, they help each other through sharing their doubts and experiences. I know you think you're no good, but I want you to know you're more than you think you are. Always hits me personally, and it's delivered so well here, especially when agency is still given to both Roomie and Jinu. They facilitate an epiphany for each other, but by no means do they save each other. They have to choose to move forward with forgiveness. For better or worse, it's up to them to save themselves. I also can't help but notice that the colors blend from distinct hunter blue, demon pink, and hybrid purple into a wall of colors that's very reminiscent of what the new Honmoon will become. Much like my theory with Jinu, I think this plan could have worked, which makes the coming downfall all the more tragic. After finishing the song, Jinu suddenly can't hear Guima in his head anymore. He finally agrees. Despite how brief they are, I do believe these moments to be genuine. It is worth noting that Jinu's first regressive step, leading the voices to return and Guima to pull him back into the demon world, lying when he stops himself before he can express how he feels. I can't wait to see you perform tomorrow. Lying about his feelings makes him become doubtful of himself again, and it opens the door for all those intrusive thoughts to return, and Guima just pulls him back to the demon world, chastising him like he did before for his singing, this time thinking he could be free. Even the demons are afraid for him at this point, and seeing as how they're all Saja Boy stans, they were probably rooting for Jinu. Guima reminds Jinu of what he really did, choosing luxury and comfort over his family. Only Jinu was allowed comfort, food, and safety. His family was left outside to starve and fend for themselves. There's a lot there that isn't Jinu's fault. His inaction, his choices, those were his fault. The point is that Guima takes that guilt and needles all that misery and blame and self-hatred back into Jinu. Again, it's about him forgiving himself. What pushes him over the edge is not so much remembering as the threat Guima makes that not only can he turn off the voices, he can also turn them up. Whatever Jinu's been experiencing, Guima can make it worse. Again, classic manipulation tactic. Tragically, and not coincidentally, after singing a song literally called Free, Jinu is trapped. More trapped than he's ever been before. Meanwhile, Roomie, oblivious to Jinu's return to the dark side, rides home on the best little guy, the tiger. Beautiful, nice little fun visual, but it also illustrates her growing acceptance of her demon heritage. Right on cue, we get a flashback to Celine convincing a slightly younger Roomie not to tell Mira and Zoe about her patterns. I think this was the moment where Roomie decided I should tell Mira and Zoe. Much like Jinu, she backslid right into her old habit, her pattern, as this memory of Celine reminds her that she is also trapped and not free. Despite continuing to withhold information, Roomie does still sit down to talk with Mira and Zoe and apologizes for not being at her best, encouraging Mira to open up about her feelings and her worries, how she values the girls and appreciates that she can be herself with Huntrix. Zoe follows suit, reflecting on how her lyrics and notebooks were seen as weird until they became a core element of their music together. Making music is what makes their relationship so deep and connected, not hunting demons. Roomie does her best version of the truth by telling the girls after Honmoon is sealed, she'll finally be ready to join them in the bathhouse. They all simply cheer and double on their commitment to fight for the spa day. Again, no intrusive questions, not even a ugh, finally, just joy. Whatever's going on with Roomie, they know this is a big step for her, and they celebrate that. Agreeing that Takedown isn't the way to connect with their fans, it doesn't even connect them, a diss track is not going to save the Honmoon. Nobody should be forced to pick sides. Anyway, the Idol Awards are upon us, and it's time to pick sides. Who will be labeled clearly superior? That intro always makes me giggle. Every snowflake is special, but one snowflake is probably the best. It really sums up my frustration, disdain, and occasional investment in fascination, my hypocritical relationship with award shows. The crowd is strictly divided between Huntrix and Saja Boys. Even the color scheme is hunter blue and demon pink, which is yet another beautiful blend of the K-pop culture elements, the music industry, and the magic demon hunting stuff. At first, it seems everything's going to Roomie and Jinu's plan. The Saja Boys are reportedly fighting backstage all of a sudden and won't be going on, which means it's time for Huntrix to perform Golden and seal the Honmoon for good. Golden build-in is finally happening live, and despite still not telling the others about her patterns, Roomie is showing a deeper connection to the source material than previous performances. While she's not all the way there, she's freer and closer to being herself than ever before. However, while Mira and Zoe are backstage, the demons trick them into thinking Bobby has been kidnapped. Luckily and unluckily, he's safely watching Roomie from a monitor. And then suddenly, while Roomie is on stage alone, the lights suddenly drop and Takedown starts playing, confusing not just Roomie, but the backstage Mira and Zoe. We get confusion in the audience as a fan gets excited that there's a new song. Oh boy, that girl's about to get wrecked. Suddenly we see an eerily lit Mira and Zoe. We, the audience, know that they're duplicates like the fake Bobby. However, Roomie locks into her muscle memory and continues on with the show. It must go on. Weird side note, but shout out to the demons for learning all that choreography. It's kind of impressive. Despite Roomie locking into the choreography, she's also trying to discern what is going on as her worst nightmare, her deepest insecurities, begin to manifest right before her eyes. Saying almost too specifically the exact right thing, Mira and Zoe, or Dimira and Zomin, start insulting her and shoving her, locking eyes with her, implying that the takedown will be of Roomie. Bobby's backstage watching on a monitor and starts to panic that they're fighting all of a sudden. Again, he heard them arguing and they all just vanished. He has zero context. Meanwhile, on stage, the fakes tell Roomie that they know her secret, that she's a demon, a mistake. Tragically specific, and that they say exactly what she has feared they might say and how she has felt about herself her whole life. Demira and Zoman then forcibly remove Roomie's jacket in a very violating movement as her patterns are exposed. While the public doesn't know what's going on, she has been forcibly outed to the real Mira and Zoe, who look on in confused horror from the wings. It's expertly shot in a way that focuses on Roomie, as if everyone can see her marks and knows about demons. Whatever is happening, it's clear to everyone, whether they can see the magic or not, this is awful and wrong. After being publicly outed by who she believed to be her closest friends, Roomie runs off stage to find the real Mira and Zoe. She's so overwhelmed and happy to see them, realizing that it was fake, but they're too scared and confused by the patterns now engulfing not just her arms, almost everything we can see of her body is covered in these patterns. Roomie starts to spiral as she tries frantically to explain, again, something that would have gone way better as a private conversation, highlighting the need for comfort and safety to avoid this chaos. All Mira hears is that Roomie lied, kept things from her, kept things from them, and even worked with Ginu. All betrayals of her trust that feed into Mira's own insecurities that her found family will cease to find or value her like her family did. By no means is any of this Roomie's fault, but the domino effect of all the girls' insecurities come crashing down all at once. Even Zoe can't trust Roomie. She can't tell her lies apart from her truths. These patterns may not be on their skin, but Mira and Zoe had their own patterns to contend with, and now they're on full display as they're backed against a wall, staring down so much uncertainty, confusion, and chaos that misconstrues lies and secrets from the shame and self-preservation Roomie has been grappling with her whole life. Overcome with so much emotion and desperation, Roomie lets out an angry, scared scream. I can still fix it. Perpetuating that vile ideology Celine raised them on, the Honmoon wavers in demonic pink, just like it does to warn them of a demon nearby. Compelled by their training, Mira and Zoe draw their weapons on Roomie, but they can't bring themselves to attack or even follow her as she runs away. Mira and Zoe instantly feel regret, as they should, and we see it, but their whole ideology, everything they knew about demons and hunters has been shaken simultaneously with everything they thought they knew about Roomie. With everything in question, the girls free fall into their own insecurities, making them very vulnerable to the lure that is Saja Boy's and Guima's influence. Even Bobby, who starts blaming himself and hearing that demon voice, judging him for not being able to keep Huntrix together, as he turns his focus to Saja Boys and this mysteriously pre-planned concert. The dark thoughts of Guima manifest in Mira, Zoe, and Bobby, and all the other fans as they attend the concert in droves, like zombies, and we can hear the voices talking to them, taunting them. You don't deserve a family. You're alone. You're too much and not enough. Little did we know, and maybe they didn't either, the music that Huntrix made wasn't just protecting their fans. Their music was also protecting them. After running off, Roomie finds Ginu backstage, refusing to believe that he betrayed her. She still insists that he can help, that he's a good person, but Ginu too has new patterns on his face, just like Roomie does. However, unlike Roomie's patterns, Ginu's patterns are patterns of behavior. Just like how he carries the guilt of betraying his family, he now carries the guilt of betraying Roomie. The argument that ensues here is something that's going to live with me forever. The guttural shout as Jinoo confesses through rage and guilt that he left them, left his family. Roomie begins insisting, no, that's not you, it's your demon talking. And the demonic screaming at each other is indicative of the destruction two unhealthy people in a relationship can create through their pain. They're not talking, they're screaming. They're not listening, they're just lashing out. It's terrifying. The cycle continues until it is broken. Roomie screaming at Jinoo that he's not a bad person are already counterproductive, but it still has that warped ideology instilled in her by Celine. That's not you. That's your demon talking. This distinction implies that it's his demon half, not a part of him. These are Celine's words. And where better to go than the source of her shame? Leaving a tear in the honeymoon behind her with every step she takes, Roomie returns to Celine, the tree from the Golden music video, where she publicly described herself as a ghost, alone, unworthy. Roomie isn't going home for healing or comfort or closure, but something devastating and terrible. Right away, Celine is holding a weapon drawn to defend herself from demons. Thematically true to the character, it ends up pointing right at Roomie. I know this is another we don't know enough fact, but I do find it really interesting that Celine can't conjure a weapon anymore like hunters tend to. That's just a sickle sword thing. Roomie offers her sword to Celine so she can finally correct the mistake that is her existence. She didn't come to Celine for help or guidance or comfort. Do the thing you've wanted to do this whole time. That says a lot. To her credit, Celine does refuse, insisting that she did everything she could to help Roomie and preserve what's left of Roomie's mother, that she never knew someone like Roomie could exist as a part demon, and in her words, did her best to accept and help Roomie. While she believes what she says to be true, that doesn't make what she did right. Much like Jinoo, I've seen a lot of people go back and forth in my comments about Celine. If we were to look at the movie directly and without any subtext, if everything went Celine's way, Roomie would have kept pushing down, kept pushing forward, lost her voice, and they would have lost the honeymoon for good. She didn't just fail as a guardian, she failed as a hunter. Even as Roomie is in front of her, wanting to be done existing, she still insists that Roomie hide, cover up, lie to Mira and Zoe. She still believes that she is fixing Roomie like this. Much like Jinoo and his abandonment of his family, Celine's inaction is still action. Celine only instilled shame into Roomie. Everything she was taught was wrong, and when she was challenged in her beliefs, raising a half-demon, half-hunter child, she did nothing to try to learn or understand. And yes, this is excellent writing. You're supposed to see the awful, warped, wrong, bad logic in Celine. You're supposed to see the pattern there. However, understanding where this all comes from is not absolvement of the character's actions. Understanding does not make something understandable. These kind of thoughts, it's kind of missing the forest for the trees, fixating so much on one small detail that you're neglecting the bigger picture. Poor Odalia, having a child challenge the status quo of the Emperor must be really hard as a parent. Marceline, think about your dad's point of view. He was hungry and saw some fries. To shout out Fire Daddy Daniel Day Kim, good old Fire Lord sticking to his traditions, he did what he thought was best. This was how he was raised. Oh wait, I got another one. Wow. It really shows that Thanos cared so much for Gamora. None of these statements are technically wrong. It's just kind of missing the point. Kind of like when I see people defending Celine, to where it kind of confuses me and almost feels obtuse. Again, you're supposed to see the generational patterns of behavior. This movie is about breaking those patterns. Literally. Celine is the foil to Roomie and Jinoo. Really everyone in the movie. You're right. It is generational. It is deeply ingrained. You're supposed to see that trajectory. She's also doing a huge disservice to not only Roomie and Huntrix, but as a hunter. People are in danger. A hunter's duty is to protect and inspire people, and Celine does nothing. She won't even lie. She won't even lie and say, no, I love and accept you. And that makes it all the more frustrating. The loving thing to do is tell you that you're wrong and bad and going to bad place. God, it works on way too many damn levels. This is so well done. Roomie helps Roomie. Roomie accepts herself and sees Celine and the current honeymoon for what it is. Flawed, outdated, and wrong. She doesn't even ask for her help. Just accept and love me. All of me. Celine sees this neglect and abuse as protecting the honeymoon, helping Roomie realize the truth. If that's what the honeymoon needs to be protected, then the honeymoon must be destroyed. As the Saja boys prepare for their final concert and possibly the final concert anywhere ever, Jinu is ready to forget not just the day he left his family behind, but also when he betrayed Roomie. With a worried expression on his face, the tiger little guy gives him the bracelet from earlier, a way to remember not just what he did to betray Roomie, but how Roomie gave him hope. Here is a reminder, literally nudging Jinu towards the path of acceptance and changing his pattern of behavior, breaking that pattern like Roomie, instead of hiding like Celine. Droves of zombie-like fans arrive to see Saja Boys perform, including Mira, Zoe, and Bobby. Also, the fan we've seen switch his shirt several times, though now he's wearing Guima merch, which is hilarious. When did Guima get merch? Anyone else wish that they had one? No, just me. Not only is Your Idol a well-crafted song, there's something in the cold energy of Your Idol, both in the lyrics and the beat. It feels so sinister and conniving, but also this eerie mask-off honesty to it. Not to validate my own weird thoughts and theories, if Soda Pop was about Gina's experience as a human and betraying his family, Your Idol is about betraying Roomie and how he manipulated her. A true villain song hiding in plain sight. You gave me your heart, now I'm here for your soul. This is the part where overthinking idiots like me would do videos looking at the lyrics and going, hang on everybody. Or I would just join the fan base. I absolutely love the inverted parallel in the visuals between Your Idol and how it's done. Ascending to prey on the crowd. Can I get the mic a little higher? As opposed to skydiving downward to save people from demons. I don't know. There's something about that I love. Like even Golden has Roomie on that ring swing looking thing, engaging with the audience, floating just above their heads as opposed to towering over them. Even Baby Saja, who was marketed with a soft, young demeanor, has a disturbingly harsh voice while he says, thank you for the pain because it got me going viral. As the song ends, we see Jinu, like Roomie would take down, isn't fully connecting with the song by the end. He looks scared and troubled. More interestingly, he's actually wearing the bracelet Roomie gave him. Instead of trying to forget what happened, he's thinking of her, right as Roomie arrives. That was a little alliterative. Right as Roomie arrives. As Roomie approaches the stage, she sings the hunter's mantra again. Guima seemingly sinking his claws into Roomie's pain. Now everyone sees you for what you really are. There's nothing to hide anymore. And instead of giving further into shame, it allows her to be more honest. The burden being lifted off her shoulders as she regains control of her powers and voice as her eyes revert from her demon eyes. And then we get my literal least favorite part of the movie. The several seconds of black screen before what it sounds like starts. Even though I've seen this movie at least 15 times at this point, every time I watch that part, I'm just waiting for the text that goes, Roomie will return in Sony Animation's Secret Wars. Like, it feels like credits are about to happen. As Roomie begins to sing, you can already see her patterns have changed, starting to appear in multiple colors. An iridescent rainbow begins to cover her body. The patterns are still there. They're not going away. They're just becoming something else as her relationship with them changes into acceptance. Roomie sings alone at first about honesty. She's done fighting to fix what can't be fixed. It gets me every time. Glowing that blue like they did for the hunters of yore, slowly moving towards Roomie, Mira and Zoe break away from their Saja Boys trance to join her in song. Hearing her lyrics of honesty, acceptance, and finding beauty in what used to look broken. Broken glass is still glass. Persevering through that pain with that trauma. It's beautiful. You may be different, but you're not wrong, and you're never alone. They can finally help dispel these intrusive thoughts, not just for their fans, but for themselves. The lyrics of This Is What It Sounds Like also play out like an apology as well as a song of acceptance. My voice without the lies. This is what it sounds like. Not just utilizing honesty, but also an understanding that Roomie was scared and how concerned and confused Mira and Zoe were. And then the crowd starts to join in. They start hearing their song. They start healing, shattering the silence, breaking stigma and isolation, shouting in the quiet, you're not alone, as Huntrix find their voice and weapons again, literally cutting through the dark thoughts like hunters have for generations. Demon hunting is never about literally defeating demons. It's about protecting people, giving them hope, fending off the dark thoughts. That's the goal. to ignite the passion that drives away darkness. You're not alone as Mira's spear joins Rumi's sword, her reminder that she is worthy of family, overlapping with Rumi's fears of not being accepted. Zoe, having listened to the demons, the voices in her head, stops trying to please and accommodate the voice telling her that she is both too much and not enough, like Celine did to Roomie, and Mira's family did to her, strengthening their bond through the common ground in their individual struggles as they prepare to fight back together. The status quo that must be challenged, like the Honmoon itself, told all three of them to fall in line, to silence or stifle who they are. It's time to rebuild the status quo to be more accepting and not strive for one color of perfect gold, but a harmonious, inclusive rainbow of all the colors. All three of them had individual personal struggles, and they find strength in seeing each other fight back and persevere as they sing and literally show their fans that they are not alone. We see the fans resonate with this moment. Despite the fame, despite the limelight, Huntrix have issues and struggles too. Also not a coincidence, the fans are wearing a lot of Saja Boys merch, most of which is showing patterns. They literally have patterns on them too, just like Roomie, just like Huntrix. Bobby is seen waking up to the line, "So we were cowards, so we were liars." And I think it's a subtle nod to Bobby's demon voice blaming him for this supposed near downfall of Huntrix, letting him forgive himself. Maybe he worried he should have said something when suddenly Roomie's releasing Golden out of nowhere, or he was too afraid to speak up when all three girls seemed completely fine but definitely fighting. It makes me think a lot about Bobby. I really appreciate that it's not played as a joke. Like, it wasn't a throwaway comedic beat. It was genuine. He needed this moment too. He needed to be comforted by their music too. As the music begins this steady pulse of a beat, showcasing a confidence like a steady heartbeat. If you know my videos, I know I say this a lot, so just picture this every time I say it from now on. It's true. So we're not heroes, shedding the infallible pedestal the idols are on as they remind themselves and the audience that they're humans with flaws too, but also survivors. Another weighty line of immeasurable kindness that I love more than I feel comfortable sharing on a public platform. Surviving, continuing, as the trio finally reunites with a hug. The girls get a magic wardrobe change, and they're now sporting patterns of their own. Not just Roomie feeling safe to show more of her skin that have patterns on them, but in the detailing of Mira and Zoe's costumes too. A symbol of alignment and support of Roomie, while also showcasing they have their own patterns too, even if it's not the same. And if you look really closely, they're hunter blue. Hunters have patterns too. A sea of glowing blue as their newfound strength ignites hope and resonance with the crowd. They continue to sing as they advance on Guima and the Saja Boys. Jinu, still looking conflicted, is the only one not to attack. The lyrics about accepting the past and moving forward are impacting him too. After 400 years of lying, hiding, wanting to forget, I think in this moment he finally understands that even if he does forget, he's doomed to repeat this pattern of behavior, like a cycle, unless he learns and acknowledges what he's done. Sometimes I can't help but wonder if he has done this before. At some point between abandoning his family and betraying Roomie, has he been tricked into betraying someone else, then having his memory wiped by Guima because he succeeded? Mira and Zoe fight off the faceless demons, providing cover for Roomie, literally support, as Roomie advances close to Guima, who absorbs his demons to attack Roomie. While she can hold back the attack with a shield of her own power, Mira and Zoe can't fight off the Saja Boys and reach her. Roomie is holding her own against the attack, but her power is new and she starts to struggle. Right as she seems stuck, possibly overwhelmed, the blast dissipates, replacing the demonic pink glow with a soft hint of a blue one. Like the ignited souls of those moved by the music of a hunter, Jinu is standing in the way, blocking the attack. Again, I'm holding back on a lot of thoughts because there's so much lore and specifics to the magic and how things work that we just don't know, so forgive me. I could only work with what's on screen. He held it, kind of like Roomie did. Are they the same powers or similar? I don't know. We can talk about that in another video if this one goes well. Like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, become a member, Patreon, thethirdbill.com, donate, merch, blah. Anyway, it could be just to facilitate the final conversation between the two characters. I like to think Jinu acknowledged that he wronged Roomie like he did with his family, and he took the necessary literal step forward to wield a similar power as Roomie's. Jinu apologizes to Roomie, again acknowledging what he's done, ending his cycle. Jinu confesses he was set free from Guima by Roomie, and she gave him back his soul. Something I think literally happened that was alluded to when the voices stopped after singing free. Jinu's soul is his again. He chooses to give that soul to Roomie. I give my soul to you works not just on a romantic level, but it also works in the concept of souls and demons and all that. I like to think kind of both are intertwined in this moment. Again, we don't really know much about how the rules of this magic work in this universe, but I think he literally gave his soul to Roomie. What does that imply for sequels, series, or spin-off? I don't know. All I know is he declared his soul belongs to Roomie as he vanishes, much like demons did when being absorbed by Guima for their power. His blue spirit transfers to Roomie. Similarly to when we see demons feed, but calmer, like a shield, swirling around her. It's just less negative. Jinu's soul gives Roomie a massive power-up. Roomie summons an even bigger sword, with patterns on it. A single slash is enough to stop the attack and split Guima temporarily in half. Roomie rushes to attack again, and the crowd begins to sing what it sounds like to her. This doesn't consume them or take their souls. This is different. This connection manifesting through lines of rainbow iridescent colors, like Roomie's new patterns, creating the new Honmoon. Okay, fine. I think there's like a 10 to 15% chance this means Jinu is okay somehow. Just wanted to get that out of the way. I've also gotten some comments about Jinu's redemption or lack thereof, and again, feel like you're kind of missing the forest for the trees. The moment here is not about redemption, but about breaking the cycle, changing his pattern. It's about him, forgiving himself. I wish the runtime facilitated us getting some space to reflect on what happened to Jinu, but animation doesn't grow on trees. A powered up Zoe and Mira get to defeat their respective Saja boys in satisfying, albeit brief, moments of comedy. Zoe sees Mystery's face, we don't, and Mira attacks Abby's weak point, his abs. And as the music continues, Roomie, now surrounded by the new colorful Honmoon, flies with Mira and Zoe to defeat Guima. All these colors around them, generating this energy from their connection with their fans. Guima is defeated and sealed away as the world is covered in a new Honmoon of many changing colors of a rainbow. And no, I won't stop calling it a rainbow. We see the darkness around them to be revealed as a magic facade as daylight returns, with Huntrix floating in the sky, surrounded by light and the rainbow iridescent colors of the new Honmoon. Just like we started with How It's Done, but out in the open, in the light. Just like we started, but infinitely better. We see the t-shirt stand proclaim his love for Huntrix, and Bobby, best boy Bobby, gets to admire and love his girls. Hi, Bobby. As Huntrix takes in the applause, we see Roomie has multicolored patterns freely showing on her skin. We then cut to the girls at the bathhouse together, finally on hiatus. A beautiful full circle moment for not just Roomie, who's comfortable now with her patterns being seen, but all of them getting to spend a spa day together, like they always wanted. Not just the physical relief from the water, but an emotional one too, as Zoe stressfully expresses how happy she is that, frankly, Roomie isn't dead. Despite Mira lightly teasing Zoe about how on the nose that was, you can tell that Mira appreciates Zoe having the freedom to say what she's thinking and feeling too. It's super literal because it needs to be said. A tearful Zoe confides how much the others mean to her, and soon all of them are crying and repeating the sentiment back. Letting all these feelings out is no different to me than the sigh of relief Roomie gave as she sat in the hot water. To express themselves like this, not just their love and care for each other, but how scared they were, how dark things felt, how grateful they are to be on the other side of all of this together. With all these years of Roomie hiding her patterns, who knows what worries or conclusions were drawn by Mira and Zoe as they continued to not pry and not ask follow-up questions when they were rejected. They also just survived nearly being defeated, and everything they thought they knew about demons and hunters was turned upside down in a single night. Now they know not just what Roomie was hiding, but why. The pain and fear she must have carried all day, every day. The toxic ideology Celine downloaded into her. Not just Roomie, but Mira and Zoe too. How many times was Roomie in pain and the others just didn't know? How often were they unknowingly contributing to that hurt? They finally get to truly be themselves and be around a healthier, happier, confident Roomie for the first time in their lives. I love this emotional victory lap. It's beautiful, funny, and very moving. As Huntrix head home to plop on their couch together, they run into a group of 3 girls all decked out in Huntrix merch. Passing a trash can full of Saja Boy swag on the way, the girls finally feel recharged, refreshed, ready to be on as they go over to the girls and say hi. It's no coincidence that it's 3 girls. I don't think it's implying they're the next hunters. I think they just see themselves. And they go over and say hi. I think it's showcasing a kinder, healthier relationship with their work, with their fans, with themselves, but also just the cycle of support. After all they've been through, they're going to go out of their way to support others. As the movie draws to a close, we see a new billboard with Huntrix on it, but now in their newer look, with Roomie fully showing her patterns. It's not just a great way to send off this touching and beautiful, captivating story and character arc. It also has this enriching, powerful meta layer of not photoshopping or removing the patterns for a photo shoot. Something we see all the time in reality, being so honest like this. We then close on Best Little Guy nominees 2025, The Tiger and the Magpie, watching over the girls, as credits roll on this breathtaking movie. I guess it goes without saying after all these videos and how long this one might be. I absolutely love this movie. I love talking about it. Those are just some of my thoughts and some details, and I'd love to know what you guys think. I really appreciate everyone just clicking, hanging out with me, and supporting videos and stuff. I feel like this would have been something that I privately love and wouldn't have shared if it weren't for this channel and the encouragement I get from y'all to keep being me and keep feeling and expressing myself. I love talking about this movie. I could do it forever, but this video can't be crazy long. But if you want to do more where we talk about things outside of the realm of what's on the screen, what's on the paper, right? I know there's Reddit AMAs out there and scenes that were removed and all this other stuff, off the page stuff, you know? I'd love to do that in the future if you guys are interested. I want to know what you notice and think about. Again, please remember to be kind. That's the goal here. That's the goal of the film. It really works on so many levels, and I know I kind of glaze over that a lot, but I don't want to list out all the things I notice and make someone feel unnoticed. Also time. So yeah, there you guys go. Those were a lot of my thoughts from K-pop Demon Hunters. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I've done a couple of these before in the past. Some have done really well, some have not. I'd love to do more videos like this if people are interested, whether it's stuff I've covered on the channel or stuff I've watched on my own. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, or just say hi or talk about your favorite part or something you noticed. Keep it positive, keep it fun. Remember to support the channel by liking the video if you did, subscribing, ringing the bell, checking the settings, setting them to all, blah blah blah, you get it. My gaming channel, PO box, merch store, all that is in the description next to a card as always, should you or someone you don't need them. Mental health crisis lines, Trevor Project. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you next time I upload or go live. I hope everyone's staying safe. Be mindful of others. Remember to take care of yourselves, please.